And this right here is what I love to see.
This is what happens when you betray your team. DeWanna Bonner, a decorated WNBA champion, walked back into Indianapolis expecting respect. Instead, she was met with a deafening storm of boos, got ruthlessly humiliated on the court, and was served a cold, hard lesson in public karma. And the most shocking part, her former team's biggest star, a sidelined Caitlin Clark, appeared to be on the sidelines orchestrating the whole thing. This wasn't a homecoming, it was a reckoning, and the story of how it unfolded is pure uncut drama.
You come back to Indiana after being a traitor, after being slimy and grimy. You come back to Indiana, you're going to get booed and you're going to get cooked. We're going to send you right back home with that bull crap. Get out of here, coach. You are not welcome in Indiana.
The moment DeWanna Bonner stood up from the bench to check into the game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the entire atmosphere in the arena shifted. A low rumble began to build, a murmur that quickly swelled into an undeniable wave of sound. The polite applause for substitutions was completely swallowed by a chorus of intense, visceral boos. This wasn't just a few disgruntled fans in the upper deck. This was a coordinated, arena-wide message of disapproval from the very people who had once cheered her name. Every time she touched the ball, the jeers rained down, a constant, hostile reminder that she was an outsider, a traitor who was no longer welcome.
The story of the night ends up being DeWanna Bonner's return, and surprise, surprise, DeWanna Bonner got booed when she returned to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And to that I say, duh, this is sports. Like, this is what we do. And I want to be crystal clear, because DeWanna Bonner is a legend in the WNBA, and Kalia Copper spoke on this last night and talked about how she can't get behind the booing. It feels distasteful because of DeWanna Bonner's place in the league.
Distasteful?
Distasteful.
Oh,
we're talking about
here.
distasteful
Get out
with
of here.
booing in sports? I am not saying anything to discredit DeWanna Bonner's place in the WNBA. I am simply saying I would have been shocked if Fever fans did not boo DeWanna Bonner last night. If we can't boo, I don't even boo. As someone who loves everybody, I'm not a booer, but I can support appropriate booing. And last night was like a prime example of duh.
The fans made it clear they remembered exactly what she did, and they weren't going to let her, or anyone else, forget it. She had broken an unspoken bond with the city and its loyal fan base, and on this night, they were there to collect the debt with interest. But this intense, emotional reaction didn't just appear out of thin air. It was the explosive result of a shocking betrayal that had occurred just months before.
There's not a more appropriate time to boo a player than when that happens. And as somebody who, believe it or not, I enjoy getting a good boo in. I like to boo. I've booed far less important people for far less egregious acts. I booed my mailman the other day.
Oh.
I didn't like the way he ordered the mail when he put it in the mailbox. You don't have to put the bills first.
I'll boo my friends when they tell about Joe.
Oh, boo, tomato, tomato, boo.
Yeah, boo.
Cut me off in traffic, I boo you. I'm in the car. I don't honk, I boo. I just roll my window down.
Doctor
roll up
gives me bad news, I boo them.
Boo.
You need to eat a little healthier. Boo.
To truly understand the source of the crowd's fury, you have to rewind to the beginning of the season. The Indiana Fever, buzzing with excitement from the arrival of generational talent Caitlin Clark, made a huge off-season move by signing DeWanna Bonner. On paper, it was a brilliant decision. She was a six-time All-Star, a proven champion, and was supposed to be the veteran presence who could mentor the young roster and provide leadership in crucial moments. The narrative was perfect, a seasoned winner guiding the next big star. But that dream scenario quickly curdled into a nightmare. After just 3 games, Bonner was moved to a role on the bench, and her attitude reportedly soured immediately. The whispers started to get louder.
Foul on Sophie Cunningham. That is her first team second.
She was allegedly unhappy with her place in the new offensive system, a system that naturally and correctly revolved around Caitlin Clark. Instead of embracing her role as a leader and supporting the team's new direction, Bonner's tenure devolved into a week-long public relations headache. The situation came to a head when she quit on the team, demanding a trade to Phoenix, a move conveniently taking her to the city where her fiancé played. After just 9 games, she was gone, leaving behind a trail of broken promises and a fan base that felt utterly and completely abandoned.
Great defense there by Hull. Copper tracks it down and bounces for Bonner.
With the sting of that betrayal still fresh in everyone's mind, the stage was set for a perfect storm of on-court karma. Midway through the third quarter, the ball swung to DeWanna Bonner in the post. She had a one-on-one matchup, a chance to finally silence the relentless booing with a bucket. But as she made her move, her shot was emphatically rejected. And the person who blocked it was none other than Lexi Hull, the very player who had stepped up and inherited Bonner's starting position after she left. The symbolism was almost too perfect to script. But the public shaming wasn't over. Bonner's teammates scrambled for the offensive rebound, and in a moment of panic, tossed the ball right back to her for a second chance. This time, Natasha Howard was waiting.
I think she handled it well. I don't understand, like she a legend and just all the things that she's done for the league. And just the disrespect, I can't get down with it. They booed her. She didn't say a word to the crowd. People talk some trash to her, but we had her back. But it's just very distasteful for what their fan base is doing, as far as when it comes to DB, because it's just like she's just the sweetest soul, and the situation didn't work for her, and that's just not what she wanted or whatever. But it's just we don't need all of that. It's just unnecessary.
Bonner went up again, and again her shot was swatted away. 2 blocks, 2 rejections, 2 failures on a single possession. The crowd absolutely erupted as the shot clock expired, forcing a turnover. It was a complete and utter breakdown, a disastrous sequence that perfectly encapsulated her miserable return. In that moment, she was shut down, exposed, and embarrassed on the very court she had walked away from. But the humiliation wasn't just coming from the fans and her former teammates, it was being amplified from the bench.
A Fever crowd. DeWanna Bonner, much to the Fever fans, in attendance, much to their credit. They didn't play nice tonight. Good job. They booed the hell out of DeWanna Bonner. And then Alyssa Thomas started jawing at the fans. Well, let me understand something. You want fans booted out of arenas, but it's okay for you to talk shit? Question mark?
As this catastrophic play unfolded on the court, all eyes darted to the Indiana Fever bench, where the face of the franchise, Caitlin Clark, was putting on a show of her own. Sidelined with a groin injury, she was far from a passive observer. She was the sideline conductor of the crowd's raw energy. After Lexi Hull's first block, Clark leaped to her feet, pumping her fist. After Natasha Howard's second block sealed the possession, she was on her feet, waving her arms, motioning for the crowd to get even louder, a massive, knowing grin plastered on her face. She was actively celebrating the complete failure of the veteran player who couldn't handle sharing the spotlight with her. While Bonner stood on the court looking dejected, Clark was down the sideline high-fiving her teammates, leading the cheers and showing everyone what true leadership and team loyalty look like. It was a powerful...
What was it like having DeWanna Bonner return to Indiana, and what were your thoughts on the fan reception tonight?
Honestly, that got nothing to do with me. I think DB returned because we were playing Phoenix, and so that happened to be that. The fans just do what they wanted to do, but for us it's about paying attention to what we have to do here, and that was coming in and getting a big win, which we were able to do.
The stark difference in mentality became even more obvious after the final buzzer, revealing a tale of two completely different locker rooms. On one side, the Phoenix Mercury circled the wagons, their players defensive and full of complaints about the fan reaction. Their star Kalia Copper was openly frustrated, calling the non-stop booing distasteful and unnecessary. She attempted to shield Bonner with her resume, saying, "She's a legend." The situation didn't work for her. "I just can't get down with it." The Mercury camp was desperately trying to paint a picture of a victimized legend who deserved better. But on the other side, the Indiana Fever's response was a masterclass in professionalism and focus. When their own superstar, Aaliyah Boston, who had dominated the game, was asked about Bonner's return and the booing, she delivered the ultimate power move. She simply said, "Honestly, that got nothing to do with me." The legend defense put forth by the Phoenix Mercury completely crumbles under the slightest bit of scrutiny. The argument that the booing was distasteful because of Bonner's status as a legend fundamentally misunderstands the social contract of professional sports. Being a legend doesn't grant you a lifetime immunity card. It doesn't give you a free pass to sign a contract, accept a paycheck from an organization, and then quit on a team and its entire city, the moment things don't go exactly your way. In fact, it makes the betrayal even worse. A legend should know better. The fans weren't booing Bonner's career accomplishments, they were booing her character, her entitlement, and her shocking lack of commitment. They were booing the fact that she abandoned their team just as they were trying to build something special. In sports, loyalty is a two-way street. When a player, especially one of her stature, breaks that sacred trust so blatantly, they can't possibly expect the red carpet to be rolled out upon their return. The booing wasn't distasteful, it was... If the on-court embarrassment and the contrasting locker room attitudes weren't enough, the cold, hard stats from the game tell the most brutal part of the story. DeWanna Bonner, the so-called legend who couldn't stomach coming off the bench for Indiana, finished the night with a pathetic 4 points on 1-for-4 shooting in 21 minutes of play. She was a complete and total non-factor. Meanwhile, the team she quit on, playing without their main superstar Caitlin Clark, put on an absolute offensive clinic. The Fever erupted for a staggering 107 points. Aaliyah Boston was dominant, pouring in 22 points and grabbing 12 rebounds. Ari McDonald, a player who stepped up in the absence of stars, had a season-high 27 points. Player after player showed up and demonstrated that the team was not just surviving without Bonner, they were thriving. The scoreboard was screaming a message that was impossible to ignore. The beatdown wasn't just confined to the basketball court. It continued long after the game ended with a digital victory lap taken by the fans. As soon as the final buzzer sounded, social media lit up. Fever fans were ruthless, celebrating not just the win, but the poetic justice of it all. The clip of Bonner getting blocked twice went viral, with captions celebrating the instant karma. Fans pulled up old quotes from when she signed, contrasting her initial promises with her quick exit. The distasteful comments from the Mercury locker room were screenshotted and mocked endlessly. The internet never forgets, and on this night, it served as the ultimate court of public opinion. While Phoenix was crying about disrespect, Indiana's fanbase was creating memes, sharing highlight reels of the Fever's dominance, and making it clear that they were proud of the hostile environment they had created. It was a digital reinforcement of the night's main theme: you don't get to quit on us and expect us to forget. But the drama wasn't just confined to Bonner herself. As the game wore on, another Mercury player decided to pour gasoline on the fire. Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's fiancée and teammate, apparently took issue with the fans' vocal disapproval. Reports surfaced that she began jawing at the fans, getting into verbal altercations from the court. This added a whole new layer to the conflict. It wasn't just one player being held accountable, it was her new team's allies actively antagonizing the very fans they were accusing of being disrespectful. This move perfectly encapsulated the sense of entitlement that seemed to permeate their locker room. They wanted the freedom to make selfish career moves without consequence, and they demanded that fans sit down and stay quiet about it. It created an even starker contrast. While the Fever players were focused on winning, the Mercury players were busy arguing with the people in the stands, reinforcing the idea that one organization was building a culture of professionalism, while the other was fostering one of excuses and confrontation. In the end, what happened at Gainbridge Fieldhouse that night was about so much more than a single win or loss on a schedule. It was a powerful, unforgettable lesson in accountability, team culture, and what it truly means to be loyal. DeWanna Bonner walked into that arena, expecting, perhaps, to prove a point and show the Indiana Fever what they were missing. Instead, the team and its fans handed her a mirror, forcing her to look at the resilient, unified, and high-scoring team she had abandoned. The boos weren't just random noise. They were the sound of a fanbase proudly defending their city and fiercely embracing their team's new culture, a culture of hard work and collective success, one that clearly had no room for the entitlement she had come to represent. She returned looking for some kind of victory, but all she found was poetic justice, served ice-cold on the very court she chose to leave behind. Her selfish act had, ironically, become the catalyst that forged an even stronger bond within the team she left for dead.